Hi, my name's Kevin and welcome back to Tractors in Life. Hey, I'm really glad that you joined us for this episode. This is going to be what I believe the most comprehensive mower deck video on YouTube. So in the fall, I scraped the deck and pressure washed it, as you're seeing here. And now, about 4 months later, we're going to go ahead and go through the process. We're going to kind of more detail the cleaning of it. We're going to put a rust preventative on it, not the fluid film. This is something in addition to that. Actually, it's not a rust preventative, it's a rust converter. And then we're going to prime the deck. We're going to paint the deck. We're going to put fluid film on it. We're going to grease the deck. And lastly, we're going to sharpen the blades. And I also want to show you what I use to sharpen the blades. It's really a pretty cool concept, and I think a lot of you guys are going to like it. Very, very affordable too. So thanks for joining us, and let's get to work. All right, so now it comes time to clean the mower deck and get it ready for paint and fluid film. So I'm going to use basically 3 different tools for this. I'm going to use the angle grinder. I'm also going to use the drill with a wire brush on it. But I'm going to do something a little bit different this year. I'm going to use this little Dremel-like tool. All right, so this is made by KATERK. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, K-A-T-E-R-K. And the problem that I've had is like getting chipping paint along the edges where I just really can't get the wire brush in. So I think this tool is going to be of benefit. Now, you can see it comes with a lot of different accessories, I guess you'd call them, to do a number of different things. You've got felt pads here for doing some finer work. You've got sanding discs, and you've got some round sanding discs that you put on here and goes into the chuck. Right now, what I'm using is kind of an abrasive disc. I don't know if you can see that. And that's what I'm going to use to go along the edges. So yeah, this was sent to me. To be honest, when they offered it to me, I thought, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to use something like that. I know, occasionally you'd want to use it, but then I thought of this project and thought, this may solve my problem in getting along the edges and not having the paint crack and chip off there. So I'm going to put the link for this product in the description. They are offering a discount code. And I have another Dremel tool, but it's corded. What I really like this is its rechargeable battery. Has 5 speeds to it and is very, very affordable. So let's get it to work and you guys can judge for yourself. I think it's a great product and a great addition to the shop. Now you may notice the rust on here. I'm not concerned with that. I got a process for that. And I'm hoping this is going to eliminate the issue that I've had with the paint chipping. Yeah, that works good. You can see it. And get down here where I can't get. The next step is going to be to prime. Before I do that, I'm going to use OSPHO. If you've watched our channel, you've seen this before. And what this does is it converts rust to zinc oxide. Now the good thing about OSPHO, it's easy to apply. Paintbrushes you're going to see in a minute. And you let it dry for about 24 hours. There's no scraping, nothing that needs to be done. It will be ready for paint in 24 hours. So let's go ahead and get a coat of OSPHO on it right now. By the way, one of the reasons for doing this is to make it easier to clean the deck in the fall, but also to prevent rust. That's what the fluid film is there for as well. You might say, well, geez, you got a lot of rust on there. Well, that's really my fault. Let me think, this is March. I pressure washed this like 4 months ago, got it all clean. So it's been sitting here in the barn, a barn with no insulation, and this rust that you see has formed since then. There was not a bit of rust on it when I cleaned it in the fall, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, let's get OSPHO on here. I would just start with a little bit and refill as necessary. You don't have to work it in, you just coat everything with it. And you're gonna see when I bring you guys back how all this is gonna change color. Now I should also add that I don't do this process every year. I don't even paint it every year. I'll paint it every other year. I'll scrape it, clean it, put fluid fill on it, but won't prime and paint. But this year I am. A lot of people use this on automobile frames. I mean, you can see almost all of it that I put in there is still in there. I'll put it back in the bottle. Now, if you saw our last video, what I'm using here is the 3-in-1 hoist. So I've got it more at eye level right now, which is just going to make working on it, you know, a little easier. All right, got the tractor out of here. I'm just going to cover the X350 up. As I said before, I don't like to spray paint with the equipment in the barn. The products that I'm going to be using, primer, going to put that on now. I've got some John Deere yellow, and finally the fluid film. You know, and as always, I'm going to put all the links in the description. So what I got to do now is get the X350 covered, got to tape up the deck, and get some kind of drop cloth underneath it. So we'll do that now. And so all I'm doing now is just making sure there's no residue. There is a little bit on the bottom of this plastic. Yeah, I'm painting everything. I'm going to paint the plastic too. Doesn't really matter. Again, this is not for beauty. This is more utilitarian than anything else. Hey, and notice how it's turned all the rust black because it has made the conversion. This is what makes OSPHO so great. And also notice the lack of preparation that I had to do before I paint. Really, really a simple to use product. We waited 24 hours before we painted to let the OSPHO set up and do its thing. You don't really have to wait 24 hours on this, but I'm going to before I actually start putting the paint on. So we'll get back with you when we're doing that. All right, if you don't have one of these handles, get one. They're really fantastic. I'll put a link in the description. All right, pretty much one can does the whole deck. So now we're gonna let this dry for another 24 hours and then put the fluid film on. So take a look at this. Really pretty, huh? Well, the reason for this on the front lawn is because if you watch our videos, you saw where, a few weeks ago, this pile where I normally put all the snow was absolutely huge, where you couldn't even see oncoming traffic. So I had to move some to the front lawn, which I hate to do. The snow has road salt in it, and I don't like it being on the front lawn, but yeah, a little bit of a mess, not real pretty. You know, living up here, this is the time of period, we're just before spring, and it can get a little ugly at times. Take a look at the garage, what a mess it is. Yeah, I bring in, both Tess and I bring in all the dirt all winter long, and of course we don't have access to water to get anything cleaned out. So yeah, dirty snow, dirty garage, just part of the process. And you're gonna see here pretty soon as we finish up the X350 mower, I'll be putting chains on it. And you might ask yourself, what, chains on a riding mower? Why? Well, here's why. Now, we got snow here now, but you could see the standing water all over the place. Way down there, it's actually a river coming off of the 60 acres. By the way, look at the 60 acres, all of that covered in ice. Again, I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera, but it's like ice fog, and it's all frozen in the field. Looks beautiful. Yeah, but back here, I don't know if you can hear it or not, soupy, sloppy, and that's the way it'll be for most of the spring. So yeah, that's why for the first, I don't know, couple weeks of the cutting season, depending on the weather, is yeah, I'll have chains on the mower. I just absolutely have to. Otherwise I'll bury it. All right, on to the next step now, which is going to be the fluid film. I'll tell you what, it's really nice. It's like 70 degrees. Today I've actually got the door to the barn open. Pretty nice. Now I'm taking the tape off of the spindles because I'm going to be putting fluid film on the spindles as well. All right, fluid film time. It should probably take about this can. I don't think I'm going to need any more. I do have more if I need it though. All right, that's pretty much 100% coverage. So now what we've got coming up is we're going to sharpen and balance the blades, and we're going to grease the deck. When we're done, this deck is going to be ready to cut grass. Okay, now we're to the point of greasing. So as you can see here, you've got 1, 2, 3 spindles. Now, these have what are called sealed bearings in them, and this is what a sealed bearing looks like. You can see this kind of protective ring over here. And by sealed, meaning that you can't see the ball bearings inside. So Deere says that these are sealed, which would mean that you don't need to grease them. Well, that's a fallacy, it really is. I would recommend you go to Woodchuck Russ, and he did an experiment on these. So what he did was he had, and I don't remember the colors, let's just say he had green grease in his machine, and there was green grease in the bearing. So he injected in the spindle red grease, and then took the bearing back out, popped the cover off, and sure enough there was red grease around the ball bearing. So what happens is there's so much pressure in there that it actually forces its way in. So do not grease your spindles, no way, not for me. I'm going to grease them, and I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so here's the spindle cover, and be a little difficult to see, but right back here, where I've got my finger, this is the Zerk fitting. So you're gonna find that Zerk fitting on all 3 spindles. How much do you put in? I don't know, I put a lot in, I really do. Yeah, let's get it greased. All right, so this is the blade sharpener that I use. I got it from Amazon. It was like 60 bucks. I'll put the link in the description. And it works great. It keeps your angle grinder at exactly the right angle. It also has a setting where you can set the angle. I've got mine set at 30 degrees, and it just does a great job. I just sharpened this blade. So if you take a look at this blade, it's perfect. It just takes the guesswork out of it. It really does. All right, so I'm gonna get these 3 blades sharpened. I'm gonna put you on time lapse so you don't have to watch that. And then we'll move on. So the best way to describe this blade sharpener is as a jig. Think of it as a jig, and what it does is it holds your grinder at the proper angle so that there isn't any room for error. Now I have put some anti-seize on these bolts. Now what I also like to do is kind of to give the blades a spin, make sure nothing's hitting. It all seems good. All right, now we can get them torqued down. I gotta tell you, having this hoist sure is nice. So I'm going to leave the link in the video description for this hoist. 3-in-1 NEWTRY hoist. Lifts over 1,100 pounds. It's only $159 at Amazon, but if you use the code TRACTORS10, you'll get a discount. As you can see, I love playing with this thing. I really do. Yeah, well, that mower deck is ready to cut grass. So now what I'm going to do in upcoming videos, I'm going to get the deck back on the mower. But before I do that, I'm going to be doing the complete maintenance to the mower itself. And I'll tell you, it's going to be just as comprehensive as this deck. I just like to know I don't have any problems. I've said a million times, I'm not a rich guy. I can't just be replacing things. I'd love a zero-turn mower, it's just not in the cards right now. Hopefully someday it will be. Hey, you know what is in the cards? Always having a good time with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to some of you. Yeah, I've got John Deere, but it doesn't matter because these mower decks are pretty standardized. They really are. So I hope that it helps all of you. God bless you all, and we will see you next time on Tractors in Life.